Today I'm going to introduce to you the Molly Burger. Hi, welcome along to Barbecue Life. My name's Tom. Today we're doing a special collaboration video with the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. So Tommy over there is going to do one of my original cooks on his channel, and I'm doing one of his original cooks on this channel. So today we are doing the Molly Burger, and it looks a bit like this. So first thing we want to do today is we're going to be cooking on the Kamado Bono I've got sitting behind me, and we want to be getting that set up with a half moon griddle in there. So we're just going to go in with we've got some used charcoal in the bottom, and then we're going on with our Texas Club charcoal on top of that, pushing it all to the back of the Kamado, a couple of natural fire lighters in there, get them lit, and then once they are taken, we're going to go in with our cast iron pan to get that start warming up. So we've got the top lid open and the top vent fully open, just while them fire lighters are taking. Once they've taken, we're going to shut the lid down, still the bottom vent all the way open and the top vent all the way open, but we really want to be keeping an eye on the temperatures because we are going to cook down some onions really slowly, so we want that griddle at a lower heat to begin with. So the onions, I've got a nice large onion here, I'm only going to be using half of it. We're going to get that peeled, and then I've got a mandolin, and I'm just going to be slicing these at 2mm thick and just slice them down so we've got loads and loads of onions. So in hindsight, I've got too much onions here because I've already cooked this video and I know how much. So about a third of what I've got here works well for one burger because we really reduced them down during the cooking period. So we've got them all nicely sliced up. We want to make sure they're all separated. Go back to that griddle, see what temperature it's at. So I use my infrared temperature probe, and I want it sitting about 100 to 120 for cooking these onions, so down really low, so that they are just going to take a really nice slow plod, sweat the water out of them and caramelise down, and it gives them a much richer flavour. So what we're going to do is, say we've checked that, we've got that at 120, so a couple of pats of butter down onto the griddle, and then we're going to go on with our onions on top and shut the lid down, and we're just going to let them sit there. That butter will gradually melt underneath them and the onions are just going to slowly sweat down. So this is going to take sort of 15 to 20 minutes to get the ideal consistency at the end. You can add more butter as we're going, so every time I turn them I just add another pat of butter on top, and it just melts through nice and slowly. We're really keeping an eye on them temperatures. We don't want them up too high, we don't want to fry these onions. We want to keep them nice and slow, and that's exactly how Tommy did it in his video. So after sort of 15-20 minutes they're going to be looking like this. So they've really sweat down, they're almost clumpy in consistency, but this is absolutely perfect for what we want. So if you were cooking this on a black stone, then you would push this over to one side, over to the side you've got no burners going, and they would sit there and keep warm. Because we're cooking on a Kamado and we now need to get our surface area hotter for cooking on, we're just going to wrap these in some foil, put them in a tea towel and keep them warm for later on. So now we need to be opening up our vents. Big wasp just flew in and flew back out. Now we're going to be opening up our vents so that we can have maximum airflow to get this griddle nice and hot. So going the bottom vent about halfway open, and the top vent is open to number 3 on the Kamado Bono. And this is going to give us sort of 200 to 250 degrees C on that griddle plate, which is ideal for what we're doing next. So once that's reached that temperature, and again you can check it using a infrared thermometer, then we're going to be going on with our buns. So I'm using, the wind gets up, knocks the beer cans off. So I'm going to be using St. Pierre buns. So these are a brioche bun seeded on the top, and they are absolutely fantastic. These are my go-to buns for brioche buns. Now the consistency of them are absolutely fantastic. You probably can't get them over the pond, but in the UK I've seen them in all of the major supermarkets, and they are fantastic buns. So we're going to get these on, get them onto that griddle. There's still a bit of butter left on there, so that's going to soak into these buns and give us a nice buttery finish on the inside as well. And we just want a nice little golden brown toast. Move them around on the griddle, keep checking them. We don't want to overdo them and get them too charred. Bottom one's done first, and move that off to our serving plate. A little bit of pressure on the top one. I tend to do this on the top bun because you get a dome on the inside, so it just gives a bit more of a contact between the griddle and the top of the bun, and it gives it a better toast. So once that's toasted, we're going to get that off to one side, check our temperatures again. We're sitting at 230 degrees C, and it's about time we started preparing our burgers. So I've got 300 grams of 80/20 beef mince. So with this, we're going to break this down, split this into 2 meatballs. So at the moment, this just sounds like a burger that's got onions in it and 2 smashed patties. The next bit is the special bit. You want to take some dark brown sugar, break it up in your fingers so it's all completely powdery. You don't want too many clumps. And we're going to completely cover both of these big giant smash burger meatballs in that dark brown sugar. So we just want to work it in, squeeze it in, roll some more out, get some more on there, just get it completely covered all the way around. In this heat, it just glistens, it melts in, just glistens on the outside. We make sure they are completely covered. I can't stress that enough. The more sugar you got on these, the better the end product is going to be. So once we've got that all done, our griddle's sitting at that 230, and it's time to get them on. So we're just going to drop each patty down slightly off centre for each one. Let it sit there for a minute, let it do its thing. You can see that that sugar is already starting to bubble around the outside of that meatball before we even smash it down. So we know that that sugar caramelising down is going to be an amazing flavour. It's going to go sticky and gnarly and just be absolutely amazing. So after about 10 seconds, we're going to go down with our smash. I always use greaseproof paper on the top because I'm fed up with my spatula sticking. Doesn't tend to stick on the first one, but if you're smashing a few and it gets hot, then the meat tends to stick to the top of it. So I always use greaseproof paper now. So I'm going to smash for 10 seconds on each one of these patties, and we're not smashing them super thin. These are 150 gram patties each, and we want a bit of meatiness to each one, but we still want that Maillard reaction by pushing it into the grill and getting that them fats and the sugars working away. So these are going to cook for slightly longer, which again is really good because this gives this brown sugar more time to go sort of chewy and gnarly around the outside. After about a minute and a half to 2 minutes, when you can see the colour starting to rise up the side, that is when we're going to go in and scrape and flip. Now you don't get your really dark brown Maillard reaction when you've added the brown sugar. I've done this cook a couple of times now, and both times it's been the same, but it does caramelise the sugar on the outside of that patty, and that is the flavour that we're looking for on these burgers. So once we've got them flipped, we can go on with a bit of salt. You can do that before you flip, after you flip, whenever you are ready. And we're going to be going on with our cheese. Now Tommy uses Munster cheese. That's not easy to get in the UK, so I want a medium-y flavour cheese, nice bit of colour in there. So I've picked red Leicester because I think that orange is going to work really well aesthetically on the outside. So we're going to get that on, lid shut. Remember, these are thick patties, so we don't need to be adding any water to the griddle. By the time these patties have cooked through, that cheese is going to be nice and melted through. So shut that lid down for about a minute. When we open the lid back up, you can see where that sugar is now bubbling around the outside. Get your spatula in and try and scoop as much of that back on top of your cheese as possible so we don't waste any of that flavour. And once you've got all of that scooped in, your burgers are cooked through, we can go back to our serving plate and start building. So you can go first patty down, second patty down, then we're going to get in with our onions, get that all over the top, and that is all you need in this. You don't need any sauce, you don't need anything else, just the flavours of the beef, a little bit of salt, all of this sugar and them onions on the top in a beautiful brioche bun, and it is absolutely amazing. So we're going to risk it for a brisket and take a bite of this live. Neighbours are out in the garden, they're being noisy, my kids are being noisy in my house, so I apologise if there is any background noises, screaming, shouting, dogs barking, but I've got to have a bite of this on camera. Find somewhere to put it, down on my lap. It's just complete and utter gluttonous glory, isn't it? This side here's got my name written all over it. Oh, so good. I'm going to wrap this up real quick because it's, as I say, it's noisy out here, and that is just too good to be leaving off to one side and not eating. So absolutely fabulous. Well done, Tommy, for coming up with that recipe. Massively impressed with it. It's just, make sure you use that dark brown sugar. When I've done a practice version of this, I used light brown sugar, and it's nowhere near as good as the dark brown sugar. You get much better caramelisation on the griddle, that real caramel, rich caramel flavour that comes out of that brown sugar. Much more from a dark brown sugar than you do from a light brown sugar. This is miles better than the first one I made. Just unbelievably good. So well done, Tommy, for coming up with that. Please go and check out his channel. If you've come over from Tommy's channel over here, thank you very much. Welcome along. Please do make sure you subscribe. We've got lots of different styles of cooking on here. So we've got the Kamado, which is my general cooking. Then we've got a Weber kettle, and we've got a Traeger Pro 22 that we're just kind of starting out with on the channel. My boy likes to use that, so we have got some videos of him out doing it so far. But yeah, thank you very much for coming along. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to make this burger, and let me know if you've gone over to Tommy and subscribe to his channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.